and our future. We are grateful to our sponsors, volunteers, and everyone who's helped make tonight possible. And at this time, I would like to bring up Cox for 5 minutes. Well, to give a welcome. So please give a round of applause for Sheena Khan.
Thank you, Denise. You got me okay. Position. So what a better opportunity. I mean, we got comfy chairs, we got popcorn, we got drinks. So good evening, everyone. Thanks, Larry. Better? Yeah, okay. As a government affairs professional, I spent a long time talking to elected officials. As a chamber board member, I spent a lot of time talking to business leaders. And as a volleyball club director, I spent a lot of time talking to teenage girls. So if there's ever one thing I've learned, it's how to bring together a lot of different personalities. My name is Sheena Connor, and I have the privilege of serving on the board of directors for the Greater Vail Chamber of Commerce, while also working in government affairs for Cox Communications here in Southern Arizona. Thank you all for being here tonight. Looking around the room, it's great to see our elected officials, community leaders, business owners, educators, and residents all taking time to engage in conversations that matter to our community. One thing I love most about Southern Arizona is that the people here genuinely care. We care about our schools, our local businesses, our public safety, infrastructure, and the future that we're building for the next generation. Most importantly, we continue to show up. We show up to listen, we show up to learn, and we show up to work together. In my role at Cox, I have the opportunity to work with communities across Pima County, Cochise County, Pinal County. Whether we're discussing broadband infrastructure, economic development, workforce development, or digital inclusion, I've learned that meaningful progress happens when organizations, businesses, and local governments work together towards a common goal. As a chamber board member, I see that same spirit every day. Strong communities don't happen by accident. They're built by people willing to invest time, energy, and expertise into making their communities better. Technology continues to play an important role in the future, and reliable connectivity supports our students, helps our small businesses compete and grow, allows healthcare providers to reach more patients, and creates opportunities for families throughout Southern Arizona. At Cox, we're proud to support the communities we serve, not only through our network investments, but through volunteerism, nonprofit partnerships, educational initiatives, and programs that help connect people through opportunity. That's why we're proud to sponsor tonight's forum. Events like this create opportunities for thoughtful conversations, civic engagement, and community collaboration. It's green now. Nerves are getting to me, sorry. On behalf of Cox Communications and the Greater Vail Chamber Board, thank you for being here. Thank you for staying engaged, and thank you for your commitment to Southern Arizona. I hope you enjoyed tonight's discussion, and I look forward to hearing the perspectives and ideas that everyone has to share tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheena. Appreciate it. And your continued support of the Vail Chamber is greatly appreciated, and a great partner. Another great partner that we have here tonight is Tucson Electric Power, also participated in helping sponsor this event. The Senior Director for Corporate Communications, and I'm not sure what else he does, but that's a lot. Joe Salkowski.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be part of this great event. Thank you all for coming and showing so much interest in your community and its future. And thank you to the candidates. I mean, as a registered lobbyist, I have some familiarity with the positions you're seeking, and these are not the good jobs that so many of us are looking to create. So thank you for taking this on. It's a real service to all of us that participation. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting us be in a part of it. And let's see what y'all have to say.
Thank you, Joe. Once said that the older you get, the harder it is to see. So, thank you for your patience. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce our moderator and one of the most favorite people in the world. And our MC for the evening, Larry Lucero, is a respected community leader who brings professionalism, fairness, and a commitment to civil discourse. We appreciate his willingness to guide tonight's discussion and help ensure a productive and informative conversation for all involved. So please join me in welcoming Larry Lucero.
Thank you, Denise. And I'm going to wander around like one of those famous talk show hosts, which will make the camera guy crazy. So this is being recorded and is going to be saved for posterity as well as streamed, so that not only is this audience going to benefit from your information, but also future folks who have not had the opportunity to join us tonight will be able to participate virtually. So the beauty of technology these days is leaves no wonders anymore as to what is possible. So we're appreciative of your patience and also your participation, most importantly. So first and foremost, rules of the game: they get 90 seconds, not 90 minutes, to respond to some of these questions. We have a set of questions that were submitted by the members of the board and other interested parties. So hopefully those are thought-provoking, as well as cover the interest and do reflect the interest of the chamber in terms of business issues. But first, we're going to allow each one of you 90 seconds to introduce yourselves to the audience. And hopefully we don't have to pull the hook on you, but we have a timekeeper that will keep you honest, and she will hold up where you are in your 90-second allowance. Some of the questions that we're going to get into are not that complicated and may be yes/no answers, which will be quick and to the point. Others may require a little bit more information from the candidates in order to present their position. So it's going to be an opportunity for you to get quick answers, but also at the same time to have perhaps some thought-provoking items that will allow you, after we're done here, to follow up with the candidates when we go back out into the lobby. So save those, and got a commitment from all the candidates that they'll stick around to field some of those additional questions. So appreciate that. So we're going to start at this end and then close from that end. So we're going to start over here. First and foremost, Kevin Volk, this is Legislative District 17. Please proceed. Oh,
wandering moderator and wandering candidates. Thank you, Larry. Thank you to the Greater Vail Chamber of Commerce for putting this event on. We're a couple of weeks away from America's 250th anniversary. This country is an experiment that through blood, sweat, and tears we put into action, and it is about accessible officials with an educated, engaged citizenry. So thank you all for coming. Thank you for facilitating. All right, it's back. Thank you for being here. I'm State Representative Kevin Volk. welcome to Legislative District 17. Happy to have you here, and excited to be the one to kick this off. I actually just finished moving out of my temporary Phoenix apartment, so I'm glad to be back in the district for the rest of the year now that the legislative session is wrapped up. I was born and raised in southern Arizona, just outside of the Tucson limits, city limits. I'm a small business owner myself and a former 5th grade teacher. So I try to bring that experience to bear in the state legislature to have a holistic sense of what the state is, what makes us unique, and what we need to do to serve all Arizonans, including businesses, not only big businesses and medium-sized businesses, but small businesses. So it's an honor to be here with the chamber. The issues that I focus on are what I hear when I knock on the doors. I've knocked on thousands of doors and talked directly to people. Cost of living, education, water, public safety. Look forward to the conversation. Thanks for having me.
Hi, everybody. Part of me wants to apologize for being part of the feature this evening when there's so many other good movies to watch. But here we are. I want to thank our law enforcement for being here tonight and keeping watch. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Yeah. My name is John Winchester. I'm a native son of Tucson, husband, father of 4, and a conservative Republican running for Arizona House of Representatives here in District 17. I'm a problem solver who believes in limited government, strong families, and real results. Our families are struggling with high housing and energy costs. Crime is rising in schools that are too often failing to prepare our kids for good jobs. That's why I'm fighting for lower taxes, to cut red tape, and make housing more affordable, keeping utility bills down with reliable energy sources, and to back law enforcement so our neighborhoods are safe. I'll champion school choice for parents so that they can find the best option for their children, expand workforce training for high-paying jobs in manufacturing, trades, and logistics, and secure our border while holding government accountable. As your representative, I'll deliver conservative leadership that puts Arizona families first, responsible budgets, safer communities, and stronger schools, and greater opportunity for all. Together, we can build a more prosperous and secure Arizona. Thank you.
Seems to be the trick to hold it a little ways away, right? Okay. I'm Holly Lyon, and I'm running for state representative in LD 17. And there's something I think we sort of missed at the beginning, that for those of you who would be willing to join me, would you stand and help me say the pledge to the flag? I have it right here on my lapel. I don't have any other one anywhere. So for those of you who can and would, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. So I served for 26 years in the Air Force, retired as a colonel out of the Pentagon, and I stayed in the Washington, D.C. area for a few years to work as an IT management consultant in corporations. And my mother and my father, well, actually, my mother needed me out here in 2008, so I moved. But my parents had moved here in 1976. So the whole time I was in the Air Force, I was coming and going from southern Arizona. They moved to Green Valley. My mother has passed now, and so I was pleasantly retired until I finally got asked if I would like to run for this position. And I'm proud to run. I want to represent you in Arizona. I want to solve some of your problems, and I know how to work with people to do exactly that. I worked in NATO and negotiated between countries. I worked in the Pentagon and saved the Air Force $500 million with a Microsoft contract, the first of its kind in the federal government. I got lauded by John McCain for doing that and said that's the model for the whole federal government. So I think I can bring people together to talk. I want to prove to you that government can work, despite what some people think. We really can solve some of your problems if we all work together. Thank you.
I almost fell, but that's okay. Good evening. I'm Anthony Dunham. I'm a proud Christian conservative father of three, one of whom is adopted, Iraq war veteran, medically retired law enforcement officer, and a lifelong volunteer in my community, church, and for fellow veterans. Guided by faith, family, and freedom and the Constitution, I will put Arizona, America, and LD 17 first. I will fight to keep our borders secure, strengthen our economy, cut crime, protect our kids, and drain the capital swamp. I am running to give we the people of LD 17 their voice and their seat back at the state capitol. I will ensure this seat stays in the hands of the people of LD 17 and not special interest groups, unions, lobbyists, or NGOs, or the establishment swamp creatures. If you are tired of the same old in politics and with your bureaucrats, then I am the candidate you should get behind and vote for. I will not give you empty talking points, unfulfillable promises. Instead, I will have real solutions for the people to everyday burdens, real answers to everyday questions, and real fixes to our real problems. Why? Because I am one of you. I'm not a lifelong politician. Government should work for you, the everyday person, not large donors, NGOs, unions, and lobbyists, and the establishment. And that is my commitment to you. The government that works for you, by you, because I am one of you. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Edgar Soto. I'm running for State Senate in LD 17. I am a lifelong Tucsonan. My family's been here for 5 generations. Graduated high school from Tucson High. After that, I went to college, played baseball, came back, joined the Marine Corps. I was MCRD in San Diego, came back home, was in the reserves, and I was a middle school social studies teacher. After that, I started working at Pima Community College, where I was a baseball coach, Dean of Arts and Humanities, and currently I serve as the Vice President at Pima Community College. I'm excited to be here, and I love this movie set we have because it reminds me that we had a robust film industry here in Tucson at one time. I was actually in a couple movies, Can't Buy My Love, and I was in the movie, the Geronimo, TNT version of Geronimo. I was a dead Mexican soldier in the water. So I'd say that to say this. We've lost some opportunities here. We've lost spring training. We've lost businesses. And I want to make sure that we are business friendly, that we make sure that we have opportunities where everyone I talk to when I'm walking, they want a good job, they want a livable wage, and we need to provide those opportunities. And I do that every day at Pima Community College. I provide pathways so people have opportunities to reach their potential. Thank you.
Good evening, friends and neighbors. I want to start by thanking the Greater Vail Area Chamber of Commerce for hosting, and Mr. Larry Lucero for moderating tonight's forum. I'm Chris King, 20-plus year veteran of the United States Air Force and combat veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan, where I served as a bomb disposal expert, disarming IEDs and other hazardous devices, protecting our nation so families like ours could live free. When my wife and I retired from the U.S. Air Force, we chose Arizona to be our forever home, and we still live in our first home, the same house since 2005, nearly 22 years living in the district. Our children graduated from the award-winning Vail Unified School District, where I've had the honor of serving as an elected governing board member since 2021. I have a long history of fighting for children, parents, and our freedoms. Arizona faces real challenges: rising costs by overregulation, rising crime, decreasing public safety, politicians who want to raise your taxes and take away your choices. As your next LD 17 senator, I'll fight for zero tolerance for criminal activity with full support for our men and women of law enforcement. School choice, because you as parents know your children best. smaller limited government that lives within its means and protects your hard-earned money, and an unwavering defense of our Constitution, your freedom of speech, religious liberty, and Second Amendment rights. I'm not a career politician. I'm a proven conservative who delivers results, not talking points. I will always put LD17 families first. Together, let's keep Arizona safe, free, and prosperous. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Representative Nancy Gutierrez. Thank you all for being here and thank you for hosting. I represent LD18, so now we're on to LD18, and have lived in my district since 2007. I'm a lifelong teacher. I've taught in Scottsdale, Sierra Vista when we were stationed there, Las Vegas, and community college math in northern New York when we were stationed at Fort Drum, my husband and I. I am proud to be a teacher and always tell people that I am not a politician. I'm a teacher who happens to be elected. And that is how I show up for my constituents. My most recent teaching experience was from 2013 to 2025 at Tucson High. And I lost that job due to budget cuts because Arizona does not fund our public schools properly and hasn't for decades since I started in 1994. I'm very proud to have fought for 2 years of free school meals this year in our state budget. That's the first time that's happened. And we will continue to fight to feed our people, have affordable housing and affordable health care that everyone can access. Thank you so much. I appreciate my time here and look forward to the questions.
$100.2. Remember that number. It will come back in the conclusion. This morning, I'm driving to work, 8 o'clock, I get a phone call. Hello? I don't think I could make it today. I have a 100.2 temperature. Who said that? Doug Everett, candidate for LD18 Senate. Who am I? I'm Len Rosenblum. I'm Doug Everett's campaign manager. The name may sound familiar to you. I was on the ballot in 2024 for LD18 House. So as campaign manager, obviously I'm not the least bit biased in any way. Doug Everett's by far the best candidate in the state, maybe the country, for a state senate. See, not the least bit biased. But anyway, during the lightning round that we're going to have 20 questions, 19 questions, it keeps changing. Doug already prepared answers. So the answers I'm going to give are not mine. They are actually Doug's answers that he typed out for me when he had the 100.2. I called him a few hours ago. How you doing, Doug? Doug said, well, with a couple of Tylenol, I'm now down to 99.5. Go to sleep, Doug. Don't worry. We'll support you. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Bob Dosey. I'm retired from the Air Force. The majority of that time I was with Air Force Special Operations. I was one of 9 people that the Defense Intelligence Agency borrowed from the Air Force to do some remote duties around the world in strange places. My strange place was West Africa. My mission was to work with the middle class grassroots people. What we were trying to figure out is why some people support governments and the same types of people support civil wars. So I retired from the Air Force and I did something very similar. I did Christian humanitarian work in conflict zones, primarily Muslim countries. So I have a cross-cultural experience in working with people that have a different mindset. So I'm well prepared to go to Phoenix and represent you in the state legislature because we do have division. Where do we need to go in the future with Arizona? We have 2 visions, really. We have Grant Road, and we have Rocking K Ranch and Vail community. Grant Road represents poor planning and poor execution, and thank you, Vail, for giving us a good vision. You have a choice when you vote for all of us candidates. Pick the future you want. We need candidates to go to Phoenix and work together to develop a good plan for Arizona and help our communities, our counties to execute those plans. My name is Bob Dosey. I'm running for Legislative District 18 House, and I'd appreciate talking to you in the lobby afterwards and answering the questions. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you, Vail Chamber of Commerce and Cox Communications for the opportunity this evening. My name is Cheryl Caswell, and I'm your candidate for Arizona State House Legislative District 19, and I'm a Vail resident of 27 years. I'm not a politician or a career politician looking for a career change. I'm a small business owner and an entrepreneur. I'm a wife, a mother of triplets, and a grassroots community leader who understands the challenges our families are facing in Arizona. My husband, Kevin, and I, who will be celebrating 35 years, have owned and operated a real estate appraisal business for nearly 20 years, giving me firsthand experience with the struggles of small businesses, property owners, and our working families. I believe the government should work for the people. Throughout this campaign, I've traveled across 5 counties of Legislative District 19, listening to the voters. No matter where I go, people tell me the same things. They want safer neighborhoods, secure communities. They want lower prices at the grocery store and relief from rising fuel costs. Seniors deserve to stay in the homes that they worked their lives to own, and young families deserve the opportunity for the American dream. I will fight for responsible spending, lower taxes, secure elections, strong public safety, protected water sources, and also I will work so that the priorities of the Arizona families are kept in perspective. Our district deserves someone at the state capitol who is looking out for your best interests, not building a 20 or 30-year political career. It's time for a new generation of citizen leadership, and that is accountable to the people. I'd be honored to earn your vote this July. Thank you.
Upsetting. Ladies and gentlemen, we still have 2 other candidates from Legislative District 19, Gail Griffin and David Gowan, who were quickly called away to a briefing in DC. And I just have a quick comment from them in order to at least represent that they made an attempt to attend here tonight. With our team representing us in Washington, D.C., they've asked me to catch up on some of the recent accomplishments of the legislature. And so in tandem, they have more than 90 seconds worth of information that they sent to me. But just a quick snippet of some of the things that they mentioned. They voted to cut taxes on the tips, overtime, gas, groceries, and more. They passed the largest tax cut in Arizona history, protected girls' sports in locker rooms, put an outstanding election integrity measure on the ballot to secure our elections, have been actively supporting President Trump in efforts to secure the border, increase the child tax credit to help parents, pass property tax relief for disabled veterans, protect the school choice and ESAs, and funded additional support for rural hospitals, cut waste and entitlement programs, balance the budget while cutting spending growth below inflation and population gains, which is the holy grail for conservatives. So this information will be on the website for you all to consider. And so Gail Griffin and David Gowan. Sort of. All right, moving on to the next district.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Miranda Lopez. I am running for the State House in District 21, and I would appreciate your vote either before or on July 21st. My experience is that I have been a community organizer for the last 8 years or so. I started by showing up and becoming a community organizer in Flagstaff. Then I was executive director for the Pima County Democratic Party. And then I was working for the Arizona Students Association to recruit college students to bring them to the state legislature and to sit down and talk to our lawmakers. And the reason that I'm running today is really because of the current representation that we have in our district. I do not want someone who is not going to show up for our community, who is not going to show up for the people who really need someone to show up for them. And I'm talking, of course, about Consuelo Hernandez, who has, over this last cycle, every dollar that she has earned, 71 cents of that dollar has come from corporate PACs. It is coming from the utility companies that are raising our bills, from the housing developers who have priced out our renters. And so I'm running because I believe that our district needs truly progressive voices to reinvest in public education, to build affordable housing, and to protect our water and our air. And I ask for your vote on or before July 21st. Thank you.
How's everybody doing today? I want to thank you guys for participating and for all that you do for our community. I am Esteban Flores, candidate for State Senate in Legislative District 21. And big reason why I'm running is because we need to restore the American dream for future generations to come. In my district, less than about close to 50% of the population makes under $50,000 a year. 30% qualify for SNAP benefits in our district, and it's been like that for quite some time. Millennials are having a difficult time finding affordable housing. Gen Z, it's very difficult to try to find a house. And one of the reasons why I got into this is because it's about our future for our children. Some of you guys may know I ran for the TUSD Governing Board of Education, and I ran to protect children from inappropriate content. Thank you. And to improve academics as well. We need to invest in the future of our children. We need to do it now. Many of our children right now are being indoctrinated. They're being radicalized. I wonder if God forbid, China or Russia invade the western part of the country, how many of our young people would fight against the United States? Taught in our public schools. It's very important as well, and to invest in the businesses here. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, Cox and the Vail Chamber of Commerce. I really appreciate your time and commitment for coming in here. My name is Maritza Higuera. I am running for the House for District 21. This is my first time. I am not tied of politicals or any political background, but I born in Tucson, Arizona. I grew up in Nogales, Sonora. When I was 18 years old, I came back to the United States and I got to learn everything. The language, ESL, reading, writing. I wanted to become a teacher. I became a teacher. I taught for the Head Start programs for 21 years, for 14 years. And then for the other 7 years, I became a health and nutrition coordinator, serving 4 counties and 7 schools. I am not afraid to start from the bottom up because that's been my whole life. I believe rural and border areas deserve great representation that gets to know the areas, our border community, our rural communities. And I am here because I want to sit down at the table of discussion with everybody else. I am a business owner, a nonprofit leader, and I want to make sure that we work together for the same thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marisa. Legislative District 21, Legislative District 19, 18, 17, and did I leave anybody out? Yeah. The beauty of the Southeast region of our community is that we have a very diverse community. And this is why we invited these various legislative districts to come and participate, because as you can tell, we cover a very broad region and we cover a broad range of communities. And so it's important to us as a chamber that we understand that first and foremost. So I thank you all for being here and starting off with this very educational process for us. So, ready for question number 1? We're going to start on this end. So, you're warmed up, Marisa. So, which committees would you hope to be appointed to should you get elected?
I'm so excited about that question because my background is in education, 21 years, but I am a proud wife of a firefighter. So I will say also education, maybe a little bit of infrastructure. We are ranchers, so maybe agriculture as well.
I would say the Senate Appropriations Committee, just for fiscal restraint on our budget, and Senate Education Committee.
I would like to be on either the Education, Appropriations, or Natural Resources Committee.
As a caretaker for my veteran father, I am interested in military affairs and elections, land, agriculture, and rural affairs, education, ways and means.
Transportation, education, and military affairs.
For the past 4 years, I've served on the Education Committee. I'm the ranking member on House Education Committee, and I'm also on the Appropriations Committee.
I would look at education, public safety, government, military affairs.
I would go wherever they tell me to go. No, I'm just, I'd probably, yeah, educate my background, but then also commerce, because I think it's important that my students have jobs. And the other one, of course, would be appropriations, because they're the ones that got all the money.
Go ahead. We'll come back.
Military affairs, border public safety, and law enforcement, as well as regulatory affairs and government efficiency. Let's doge the heck out of the state.
I'd like to be on the government affairs, the federalism, military affairs, elections committee. And I wouldn't mind being on the judiciary, even though I'm not an attorney. I was actually a judicial commissioner in my county, so.
I'd like to serve on appropriations and the natural resources. I believe that energy and land use are going to strangle the economy if we don't deal with those issues in the medium term.
I serve on the Appropriations Committee and the Public Safety and Law Enforcement Committee, and I was honored to be a part of a new committee that was started this year, Rural Economic Development. I also got a little bit of exposure to the Commerce Committee when a colleague had to be out for a while, and I stepped in for her. So those are the committees I'm currently on.
If Doug gets elected, which committee would he hope to be appointed to?
Transportation.
Thank you. All right. You guys get to sit for a second. All right. Are you committed to reaching out to the Southeast businesses before voting on a bill that impacts those businesses? Right here. with Cheryl.
Absolutely. As a small business owner, I would work within our communities of the 5 counties that I represent to make sure that we bring good business policy, also to support our citizenry. Thank you.
Absolutely. I already talked to businesses trying to figure out how government can help and how government might be hurting. So I will continue that practice.
Yes, I will work with all elected officials, both at the federal level and local level, using rationality.
Of course I will. That's what I am here to represent my whole community. So I will continue to reach out to businesses in my community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I'm proud to announce the endorsement from National Federation of Independent Businesses. Small businesses are something that we absolutely need, and the Vail area, District 17's got very distinct business areas in various areas, so absolutely we have to reach out and make that as part of the policy, because they are the stakeholders that help drive that policy.
Well, it would be a disservice if I didn't listen to my constituents and businesses. And so for me, that's just it goes with the job. I'm there to serve, not my own agenda. It's the agenda of my district and the people I serve.
Yeah, absolutely. As was already previously mentioned, I'm in the community just about every week meeting with small business owners already, talking to them about their everyday issues and what we can do to solve those problems. So absolutely.
So would I. I have actually been a member of 5 chambers of commerce in Southern Arizona. I've listened to a lot of small business owners especially, but also some large ones. And that's what makes the community run. We need to focus on them, and as well as the families. And I would be happy to get all the input I can, and I would certainly reach out to anyone I know who's a stakeholder on any particular subject.
Yes, I would. The businesses are the heartbeat of a community. In Arizona, we have ghost towns. That's not where government dried up. That's where business dried up. Government would stay as long as they can. I sit on the board of directors for the Southern Arizona Chamber. I participate in the advocacy committee for the Vail Chamber. I participate in activities with several of the other regional chambers as well as the Southern Arizona Leadership Council, which is a business entity. Business, I will require their input to do what's best for them and their interests.
Absolutely. I'm a small business owner myself. I was proud to bring Greater Vail Chamber President and CEO Denise Bowles as one of my guests on opening day this session. The business community is crucial to not only our economy, but the health of our communities, and their input is vital. I'll just say, as part of the state legislature, serving these 2 terms, a year and a half in, the legislature is not business-like. We had a 19-hour overnight voting session when they added 120 bills that we weren't expecting. And so one of my priorities is to call out those practices to try to make the state legislature operate more business-like as opposed to the way it's currently being run.
Great, thank you. Starting here in the middle. If Southeast businesses would benefit from a bill, you guys hear me okay? If they would benefit from a bill that required bipartisan support to pass, would you reach across the aisle? Oh, I'm sorry. You guys didn't finish. Sorry.
I thought some of us were skipping questions. Yes, as turn it off and turn it back on. All right. Yes, I would definitely reach out to businesses in Southern Arizona before making any decisions that would be impacting them.
Absolutely. I would definitely. Our businesses are counting on us to create and remove regulations for any new regulations without understanding real world consequences, especially for our small businesses. We need to invest in them all over Tucson. I think about the empty buildings. People are less people are creating businesses here, and we need to change course quickly and improve that aspect. But yes, absolutely.
Thank you. As a I would love to continue to work together. I'm part of small business leaders and areas where we love and look forward for our representatives to sit down again at the table of discussion and support. So I will definitely do that. Thank you.
Let's try it again.
Let's try that again. All right. Okay. So now we have a political question that requires a little bit of across the aisle work. So if there is an item before the legislature that would benefit the Southeast businesses, but that would require a bipartisan support for it to pass, would you reach across the aisle to get or provide the supporting vote to get that to happen?
Yeah, I have experience doing that in as a Christian in Muslim countries, working with government to try to build better communities. We should all do that as elected officials. You deserve that from us. Absolutely, I would.
Doug says, yes, I will work with all elected officials.
Thank you. Of course, the only way a Democrat gets their bills heard in a committee is working across the aisle, because we are not in the majority party. And even though only about 4 or 5% of our bills ever get a hearing, I have had bills heard in committee and passed through committee, and that is because some of the legislators in the House know that I want to work for the people of Arizona.
Absolutely. And I've already started working on building those relationships with some of the candidates as well, and some of the elected officials. So there's not one party that has all the best ideas. So for me, it's best idea wins.
Is it back? Yes, so long as the
Let's try this.
We have more mics than we know what to do with here. Yes, absolutely. In military, we had a saying. I taught war planning with all the different services, and so the different services don't necessarily know how each other works. So what we would do is spend a lot of time doing what we call building trust and confidence, and it's all about relationships. So absolutely build relationships. That's why I love sitting between these two people. Because I'm already building relationships with them. That's how you make things happen.
Thank you. Yes, the principle is is it good for Arizona residents? And if that's the principle, then I'd like to have as much support for that as possible.
Absolutely. That was a commitment I made, and I'm proud to be one of the most bipartisan members of the state legislature. This job is about getting things done, first and foremost.
Yes, I think of it as one big happy family. I'm a mom of triplets. I couldn't please everyone all of the time. So if I can handle 3 babies at once, I can handle a political discussion. Everyone should have a seat at the table.
So, is this on? Oh, yeah, it is on. So I would say it depends, because when it comes to corporations continuing to take advantage of our residents, when it comes to marginalized groups being criminalized, and when it comes to freedom of speech, I am not willing to hand over those values so readily.
I would. It free.
there's no, as well as it doesn't create unsustainable debt issue.
Test. Yes. So as a previous teacher, I always share with our students that we gotta work together. If great ideas come from different parties, and sometimes if we're not agree to disagree, if we agree to disagree, it's always good to sit down again at the table of discussion. They they we meet in the middle. So I will there at time and to sit down and have some type of meeting middle.
Thank you. All right. Moving on to, I think we're back to 19, or we had a 17.
I think we're on.
Yeah. All right. All right. You ready? Okay. Do you support the economic development concept that some acreage of Arizona state land should be sold each year in every county in Arizona?
No, not sold. The state should maintain its ownership of these state lands. However, I will consider long-term leases, such as 50 years, 90 years.
Okay, thank you. I would say no, because that is a county decision. If it's county land, that I don't want to put arbitrary laws on our books that say a county has to sell land if there's no purpose for that land to be sold. If there's a purpose and the local community thinks it's a good idea, that's great. But I don't think it's a state government's place to come in and tell counties what they have to do with their land.
Thank you. I know we were discussing this prior to the forum tonight, and this is a Prop 123 question. Selling state land to benefit education, and absolutely, if we're going to sell it, because it is state land, so and it's going to actually fund education, absolutely.
I think it depends on if we got to do it strategically, and we got to do it in a way that's in harmony with our beautiful, majestic Sonoran Desert. But because it is funding for our public education, I think we need to start looking at ways to figure out to do it in a responsible way, so that we can maybe create a bigger tax base and get funding for some of the things we need funding for.
I would also say it depends based upon what the revenue from the land is used for and the purpose behind selling it.
I'm kind of in that same camp. I don't think we ought to have a blanket law that says that land has to be sold in every single county. And I think that we need to make sure that whatever land does get sold is done in harmony, not only with the county, with our environment, but also with with the towns, the local towns, and the commerce, and what needs to be done to make all of that work better together.
I'm unclear if the question is focusing on the need to sell land in every county or the need to sell land, period. So I'm not sure. I am open. I'm absolutely supportive of selling more state land. As I said before, land use in the state of Arizona, if it's not dealt with in the medium term, is going to start strangling the economy of the state of Arizona. And we need to see a remediation of the current policy.
I absolutely think that state land sales and ground leases have a vital role in economic development when done in cooperation with local governments and economic development efforts that are underway. It's back. It's back. I'm a real estate guy. We need to be strategic and maximize the value of those sales and those leases. So I would not be in favor of something as prescriptive as requiring acreage in every county every year. But the beneficiaries of those funds are K-12 education. That's vitally important that we make good decisions for the long-term stewardship, but also maximize revenues for our education funding.
Thank you. I think we gotta oversee both things, opportunity and economy, and also our environment. Like I share, I am a rancher, I am a business owner, and my background is in education. So I feel that I will have to look forward and see what the work that has been done before, what our officials everyone thinks about within our state and our representatives within our district, and balance it out. Thank you.
For me, it depends. If we do sell it, I think it should be with safeguards. In our own opportunity. I'm in favor of, I mentioned earlier,
Yeah, so I don't think that the state should require that counties have to sell a certain percentage of land every year. I do think that, it is necessary for the state to sell land in order to fund things like K through 12. But we definitely need additional sources of funding in order to really reinvest in our education system.
Yes, smart land development is good for Arizona. We do need to sell some of our state trust land to fund our education. The lands that are held outside of ownership that is private do not collect tax revenue. In order for us to increase revenue and fully fund our public school system, we do need to look at selling public land. Please look up a public land map for Arizona. You will see why we are underfunded, because we have more public lands that are not income producing. Thank you.
And I have a map of that public land, especially around the area of Vail. I'm interpreting this to talk about state trust land. So we have state trust land that is leased, and that goes immediately into the budget. We also have a trust fund where the sale proceeds go in. The trust fund is appreciating about 9 times faster than the land itself. So logic just tells us, let's sell some land, let's accelerate some of the sales so we can put money in the bank and invest it. The state treasurer does that, and we can work off of the returns of that fund. The land can be developed by communities like Vail, so the businesses can have some land, and we can have more affordable housing. And we also would have more money in the bank year by year, compounded interest, to fund education. So yes, we need to sell some state land and put the money in the bank and work off of that profit. I have a paper on that out at the desk out front. I'd love to talk to you about that.
Great answers to a very difficult subject. All right. On the topic of thorny subjects, as an old utility guy, I'm always concerned with generation and how you generate electricity in the state. So there is a thought afoot that nuclear energy should become part of the generation mix in Arizona. Do you support development of nuclear energy in Arizona? Let's start right there in the middle.
Okay, thank you. I am into looking at nuclear because it is clean. We already have Palo Verde in Arizona, but I'm also very proud in the state budget that we were able to save. The Democrats were able to save the solar tax credits for businesses and residents to use solar tax credit, because there is no reason that Arizona should not be the leading state in solar energy. We get the most sun. We should be capitalizing on that, and it is the most clean kind of energy.
Thank you. Yes, I absolutely. I am a large proponent of nuclear because Representative Gutierrez said it is clean. It is the cleanest source of energy out there. I'm also a proponent of small modular reactors as well. And I talked to a lot of the utilities, and I know there is some interest in developing that, because we do export. We're still an exporter of energy to the western portion of the United States.
Yeah, you know, I think, you know, our Palo Verde nuclear plant is using the fission nuclear, you know, the way where you're splitting atoms, but University of Arizona. Okay, the University of Arizona, one of the 5 points of their strategic plan is working on nuclear fusion. So we need to be really innovative and explore renewable energy. So yes.
Yes, I think all forms of affordable, good and clean energy should be looked at, not just nuclear, but all forms of it.
So I agree. I think that we need to look at everything that we can go forward with, and that includes developing nuclear energy, including the pods. I think we need, and the solar and everything, because eventually we're going to run out of fossil fuel. It might not be in my lifetime, it might not be in yours, but at some point in time we need to position ourselves to fuel everything we need into the next century even. And I would love to see those nuclear pods developed right here in Arizona, and the technology to be refined, because that way we could stick some of those data centers out in the middle of absolutely nowhere, the desert, where they don't bother anybody.
Yes, I support nuclear. I know that the larger energy providers in the state have formed a group to get a second stack out at Palo Verde. I work for Arizona State University. ASU is also coming around to figure out how we can provide research and workforce support, increase workforce support for that. We are facing high energy prices because we've been picking and choosing which energy sources we're going to use, and we need an all of the above approach to energy so that we can lower prices.
Agree, we need an all of the above approach, including nuclear energy. We need nuclear powered microphones. We got to do nuclear energy in the right way. What we've seen is multiple bills at the state legislature that would say that as soon as a large power user like a data center is approved in a community, it's almost instant local approval for a power plant, including a nuclear power plant. And I think that is an inappropriate centralization of government power at the state level to override local communities. So there's a right way to do it, and that's what we need to do in Arizona.
Thank you. I feel that if it's safe and environmentally responsible, it can be part of a diversified portfolio. So I will look forward to look into it and support our movement of changing.
Yes, and the same, I would agree, as long as it is safe, it doesn't interfere with the health of our citizens. And if it creates an opportunity to become more energy independent here in our state, then I would be for it.
Yeah, I know that technology has far and away improved a lot. And as long as we have a safe place that we can be storing any radioactive waste, I think that nuclear energy is something that we definitely need to be investing in. It represents an economic opportunity, not just for our community, but also for our state. And we need to invest more in renewable energy overall, as well as considering public power as an additional way to continue lowering utility costs for our residents.
Yes, we should be supporting small nuclear energy as well as small nuclear reactors in our state. It's just common sense to approach with a full menu of all options. Thank you.
Nuclear energy is here to stay. It's getting better and better and safer. Modular nuclear energy is already in existence, and we should use that. As a Republican, I'll tell you, we're missing the elephant in the room. Nuclear energy will power water transformation, especially desalinization, and that'll change the entire Southwest U.S., and Arizona should be in the forefront of that movement.
Doug Everett says yes, he supports nuclear energy, it's reliable energy, and he supports more small modular reactors.
Thank you. Someone touched on the water subject, so you're anticipating my next question, but you're going to have to wait to answer. Give the audience one water augmentation strategy that you would actively promote and vote to support.
Thank you, Larry. The one that I was actually looking at is the deregulation of the water harvesting. Water comes down from the air. Nobody owns the air. I mean, other than the United States Air Force, but nobody owns the air. So when water comes down, people ought to be able to harvest it and without any type of oversight.
So I think with water, it's all the above approach with, rainwater harvesting. It's making sure that, we have good relationships with New Mexico, Colorado, and where we're getting our water from. And also making sure that maybe we're exploring. Now, I'm not saying this, but I know like in San Diego, they have a desalination place where that's becoming a lot more efficient. And so there was an article written about water swapping from the Colorado River. So we've got to explore all of it. And I'm not saying that's what I would do, but I definitely would explore all of the above.
Yeah, I think similar to energy, it's an all of the above approach, from desal to preserving rainwater that falls and everything in between to preserve water, not just for us, but for future generations.
There's so many things. Is it going? Okay. There's so many different areas that water is going, and the problem is we don't even know where right now, because there's, other than residents and in a lot of cities, the businesses, we don't have, water isn't metered. So I would say number one is we need to meter all the water withdrawal. Number two, I'd like to look at rural groundwater management areas. Right now, our cities and some other areas are already being managed, but that's not true in a lot of our rural Arizona areas. So we need to look at how that can be done better so we can conserve, while we're at the same time looking forward to see where we're going to start getting water into the future. And like I said in my opening comments, not just 5 or 10 years, but we need to look, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years for real water.
Thank you. My comments are brought to you by Dasani. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, a joke or something to lighten it up. I think we've been looking at managing water in this state for over nearly 50 years, over 50 years. We have to start talking about supply. We get 12 inches of rain here in southern Arizona. That's like our average. That's our mark. We don't have enough water for the future of our growth, and we need to be talking now because it will take a heavy lift to find a different supply. The Colorado River negotiations are going to secure water for the medium and near term. Long term, we have to increase supply. I support desalinization. There was a plan that was drafted several years ago during the Ducey administration about putting a plant in the Sea of Cortez and pumping water into Arizona. If that's not it, we need to find other alternatives to increase our supply.
this is a vital issue that the state legislature has basically punted on. And even though we as Arizonans, especially here in Southern Arizona, have done an incredible job of reducing our per capita water usage, there are areas of the state that are totally unmanaged, as was said before. Conservation is always going to be the most cost efficient, but we do need to look at augmentation, bringing in reliable supply of water. Right now you're hearing about the San Diego desalination plant, and out of desperation in the Colorado River negotiations, we're looking at that. That is, I think, a viable source where it's domestic and we can do it in the most efficient way where we don't have to be shouldering the multi-billion-dollar investment ourselves.
Thank you. I was looking forward to answer this question because I feel with my teacher hat, we also need to start from educating our generations, right? We are ranchers in Rio Rico, Arizona, and we have teaching for the past 5 years how to recycle water, about our gray water system, about our groundwater system, and we partner with the University of Arizona. We also teach, when we teach our community about recycling water, some of us sometimes in our community don't know why or how, the very basics. So I feel, of course, it's great that we will continue to share how to and how to invest to continue these deals, to continue to have our water. But it's also our education that needs to continue to share with all of our generations about taking care of our waters from everyone. I feel education, it's the best way because we continue to learn every single day about groundwater and recycling and their methods.
Thank you. Yes, I am for groundwater replenishment, doing whatever it takes to protect our aquifers. And desalination, I think, is fantastic as long as we don't have unsustainable debt doing that in the process.
I agree with what some of our other candidates have talked about with the overuse of or the overdrafting of water by what are mostly corporations in our rural areas in Arizona. Some of these corporations are not even in the US. And in order to really address the water shortage crisis, we first have to update our 1980 Groundwater Management Act. I think the desalination plant, while an interesting idea, is going to cost a lot more energy, and more energy means more money. I don't think that that would be necessarily the cheapest way to go. And I think it would be better to make the corporations start paying their fair share.
I have the great honor to represent 5 counties in this great state, all the way from Pima County to the New Mexico line, including Cochise County. The water issues across this great district are very diverse. CAP water is not available in Cochise County. The mines in Safford and in Graham County are also great water users. So I have to use an all of the above approach. Desalination is one of those that I would consider. Also, market-driven approaches to conservation, that it would be free market-driven. And I agree that we should let the water flow to the American people and the Arizona citizen. There's no reason why we need to tie you up in bureaucracy to collect rainwater and harvest rainwater to water your plants and take care of your landscape as well.
I'll be agreeable and disagreeable in one question. In 2023, the City of Tucson finished a study and signed off on it. It's called One Water 2100. That study said, and the mayor and the council signed off on it, that study said that we have sufficient water supply in the Tucson Basin to last us at our current rate of expansion until the year 2100. So that's almost 75 more years we're sitting on water. We don't want to use it all, so we do need to have a strategy. All of the ways we can save water and get more water, they're all great ideas. I will propose one that is a bipartisan crossing the aisle. our forests are mismanaged. When NAU did a study on forest management, historically they had 178 trees per acre, and currently, when they did the study, they had between 1,500 and 2,000 trees per acre. So all of those trees suck up the water doesn't go down into the water table, and then the trees don't prosper, they dry, and we have massive forest fires. So that's one thing we can work together across the aisle, is managing our forests better, preserve our water supply as it comes downhill. We do need to look to the future, but the sky is not falling today.
Today, in the short term, we should more strongly employ water conservation education. And of course, we're open to long-term strategies using technology.
Thank you. We have to regulate groundwater in this state. We don't. And that's what we have to do. And I will just be honest that we also will have to flip our state legislature if we want different water management, because it's the people in charge of the water committees have been the same people in charge, and they're unwilling to hear new ideas about water. And some are even unwilling to admit that we have a water crisis.
Yeah. Thank you. Great response to a very tough subject. And oh, good, well thought out answers. I'm going to ask you to solve another problem for us. It's just transportation. RTA next is not the answer completely. It's complete in Pima County, perhaps. However, the state as a whole, of course, for Arizona, we vote to
Pass. No, I'm just joking. You know, this is a tough one because, you know, the roads and transportation are so important, but I think we need to explore maybe what some of these other states are doing, whether it's, and I hate saying this because I got an electric car, but taxing EV or other options that might help us. I know like our gas tax has been the same since 1991. So, you know, if we want to fund some of these things and we want to do some of these things, the money's got to come from somewhere. So I'd be open to exploring maybe different options for that.
Well, RTA did pass, so that's one option. But statewide, I think just looking at more responsible spending with where the money's already going, do an audit of the systems and figure out how to properly invest into effective roads that aren't going to break down 15 or 20 years from now.
Yeah, I mean, there are lots of different places I think we could save a little money that we don't have to raise anything else. But one of them is, for instance, road funds have been swept. That means they've been cleaned out by the legislature to use in other places. I think that money needs to go to the roads. That's what we're paying it for. And also I would look at, basically we could either change or lower the gas tax if we start doing, like some places have, a per mile road tax. So basically that would also apply to EVs. And it wouldn't have to be very big. It could be a tiny, tiny piece. But if we started lowering the gas tax and raising that tax, it would equal out, I think, more and more. And we might have a little bit more money for future transportation costs.
Thank you. It was mentioned the gas tax hasn't been revisited since 1991. We have a $2 billion infrastructure deficit in this state. Pima County, as a county, spends about $20 million a year on infrastructure. A lot of y'all out here in the Southeast don't see much of that investment. But they have $40 million of need to maintain their road infrastructure. There's not enough being produced, and the vast majority of the pressure is being put on people who drive, folks who drive gas vehicles. So vehicles will become more efficient, but there's also a whole lot of EVs out there that aren't really paying their fair share. And so we need a different structure. We need to look at how we're funding it so it is much more efficient and equitable across drivers, because it is currently not.
Yeah, absolutely. Gas prices are through the roof right now, and obviously there are international factors that are driving that. But we've got to look at. I think RTA Next is a good model. It's local, regional. We know the projects. I think Legislative District 17 is going to do better in this round than it did in the last round. I looked at the projects, but we do need to have a broader conversation. We do need to equalize it and have electric vehicle owners pay their fair share as well.
Thank you. To not be repetitive, but with taxes and new ways to increase maybe ways for or taxes for transportation. I know I mentioned many times that I'm from a rural area, but we do not have public transportation, and the public transportation that we have within like the city of Nogales, sometimes they have to balance it out with private and public transportation to support the citizens there. So I would love to also look forward into partnerships and to what our constituents have to say within rural areas, border areas, and of course the rest of our me like as on our sometimes we think about those parts.
What about not allowing free transportation, free buses, and using that to help build our roads? Thank you.
So I don't know if we need to raise the gas tax necessarily, but I think it's more important to look at how the funds from the gas tax are being distributed, because currently Pima County is getting a much smaller slice of the pie than Maricopa County, simply because of the amount of unincorporated land relative to incorporated. In Maricopa, it's about 95% incorporated. In Pima County, I think it's closer to something like 45%. But that's something that I think we need to look at. Is we need leaders of Southern Arizona fighting for Southern Arizona and telling people in Maricopa that they cannot continue to take as much as they want from the tax fund.
To that point, we need more Pima County elected leadership up at the state capitol. And also, I would look at waste, fraud, and abuse. We as citizens should not be driving on the roads that are in such disrepair. I taught 3 children how to drive during COVID. It was the only treat COVID gave me because there was nobody out on the road. But these roads that cause unsafe driving conditions, we need to look at efficiency, redirect the funds properly, and look at public-private partnerships without creating new taxes or big government bureaucracy and red tape.
Well, I was assaulted 3 days ago at a Suntran bus stop, so I'm not really sure the jury's still out in my mind on public transportation versus private transportation. I look at Grant Road and I'm not really sure that government is doing the best it can. We need to improve our roads for sure. Part of the solution is we have federal owned roads. So east-west transportation in the United States depends on 5 interstates. And the only one that's an all-winter, all-year, no snow closures is I-10. So we should be leaning on the federal government to improve our I-10 corridor much more heavily than we have in the past. But we still have state roads, and we need to budget for those. I'm in favor of raising sales tax and lowering income tax and property tax. And the reason for that is people from out of state, when they buy stuff, they pay tax, but they don't pay property tax directly, and they don't pay income tax at all. So rather than trying to manipulate the gas tax per se, I'm in favor of raising sales tax across the board, foods accepted, and giving that money back to you in terms of property tax and the income tax, and letting people who come to visit our tourist state help pay for some of our funding.
Arizona should maximize the federal funding, such as focusing on completing Interstate 11 from Nogales up to Hoover Dam. Well,
Okay, well. I don't support
Great.
right. Okay. I think that folks who are buying electric vehicles should pay part of, I'm not saying put a tax on them, but there should be some kind of fee so that they're paying their fair share of maintaining the roads. And I just, you know, we need to keep separate. What we're doing at the state level is not telling Tucson how to use their transportation money, right? So for me, this question isn't about free transportation because it's not within our purview in the state legislature to tell a city or county what they do with their transportation money. So that's why your local elections are so important. So I just want to point that out.
So with almost 10% of the vehicles on the road here in Arizona being EVs and the amount of damage that they actually do to the roads, I am in support of levying a tax that is similar to the gas tax for their usage. So whatever that mechanism looks like, and make it equitable. So we want to make sure that everybody who uses the roads actually shares a piece in making sure those roads are there for everyone to use.
Thank you. And I think we've heard from all on this question. So in respecting your time and having reached the end of our time here with the panel, would you please give the panel a great hand for answering all these questions? Sure. All right. We do have an audience question before we close. All right. So Arizona's cultural and natural beauty and resources build a sense of place, thank you, for residents and are an economic driver through tourism and many other aspects of its effect on our economy. What is there a second part to the question? Okay, you're going to have to read this because this is beyond my abilities to read this cursive writing.
Okay. Okay, I'll just start over. Cultural and natural sites are stewarded by nonprofit organizations. These organizations also provide unique educational experiences, and they contribute to local economies. Could you share your thoughts about the role of these organizations and how they could be possibly consulted as part of decision making and in thinking about how they are a vital part of every community in Arizona.
Thank you, JJ. Want to start down there, Legislative District 17?
It's a long question. I'm not sure I really understand what we're getting at. I'll just say it this way. I don't support any new regulations that would strangle economic growth for any reason. So as long as we can continue to not make any new laws, no new regulations, and continue to maintain what we have, then I think it's a conversation worth having.
I think our nonprofits serve a really crucial role in our communities at all levels, on all subjects. And I think the stakeholders on any given subject in the nonprofit communities ought to be allowed to have a voice, ought to be able to connect with their legislators and figure out what some of the better routes are for legislation to enable them to do what they do. Because, I mean, after all, they're practically doing it for free as far as the state's concerned. So what a wonderful thing. Let's encourage them and let's do what we can to keep them going.
I think historical sites are important to giving or grounding young people in particular, giving them a sense of place, where they came from, where others came from, why they're there to begin with. And I think that they serve as a very strong educational tool, but also unifying tool for younger generations. And so I think and the state of Arizona has quite a bit of this historical society here locally that preserves some things and they do some things. I'd be interested in learning more about how, with our growth, we don't outgrow our past, so that we know where we came from. I think that's important.
I think lands and historical Arizona sites are absolutely part of what gives us a sense of place. I think those are priorities that we need to have in mind as we decide how to govern the state of Arizona. I'm proud to support continuation of arts and parks funding to make sure that the infrastructure for ordinary Arizonans to access that continues. I'm also interested in doing anything we can to share the story of Arizona to others, to increase tourism, which is a great boon to our economy, and outsized impacts economically.
As a nonprofit leader, I know a lot of the groundwork that nonprofit organizations do and all the heart that they put into it. So I believe it's very valuable to have them also to hear their thoughts and their hopes and dreams for when we come up to discuss for either in our it's within their whole states. I think they're also the heart of our state.
So the question is referred to the cultural historic sites, especially in the Vail area that JJ represents, the Vail Preservation Society. The question is regards the importance of collaboration and nonprofits in continuing to attract tourism and other economic benefits from those kinds of facilities. JJ, is that pretty close to your question?
Yeah, we should respect the nonprofits as long as property rights aren't infringed. We should respect their boundaries.
I am a firm believer in the concept of co-governance. So that is when organizations, nonprofits work very closely with lawmakers. They meet regularly. They help craft policy and political agendas. And the lawmaker can always rely on organizations for members to show up, whether it's a rally or a committee meeting. And so that is something that I would be very dedicated towards, is co-governance with these nonprofits, especially with regards to the environment.
We have a great historical story here in Arizona. Much of our land is historical. As a real estate appraiser and a former property appraiser for the assessor's office, we give tax breaks for historical properties. And so We are always looking at working, whether you're a profit organization, a nonprofit organization, a small business, or a large business, or just someone out there that has a side gig. I want you to come to me and we need to have a conversation. When we stop talking with each other, we can't solve problems.
Well, after I retired from the Air Force, everything I did was through a nonprofit, an NGO. So I'm not opposed to them at all. The issue I think you addressed specifically was historic sites, which I think government has a role in terms of those are economic development opportunities, as well as a community site that the community can gather around. So government should be involved, but I'm reluctant to say that government should use nonprofits for political purposes and all that sort of stuff. Those agendas don't belong mixed together. If you have a passion for something, you should invest in it through the nonprofit. Government should get out of the way and should not infringe on that. But on those specific tourist sites, those historical sites, I think there's a role for government in preparing the infrastructure development necessary for it to continue. The continuance and the care, say, of a historic house, I'd love to see that in the hands of a nonprofit, not government, because government wills can change and historic buildings can be torn down, but a nonprofit can maintain it forever through the population.
Our cities and towns must retain their own personalities and their own tourism sites. Nonprofits are certainly one way to fund those activities.
I Okay, it's on. I think that it's important to remember have not only historic sites, but 22 tribal nations. And we need to be more aware of bringing in our tribal leaders to make sure that their lands are not more stolen than they have been in the past. Also, this every year in the budget, but particularly this year, the Republican budget Thank you. Being, I'm assistant minority. And we did fund the Arts Commission. I think it was $3 million this year. And that is extremely important and something that Democrats fight for every year.
Thank you for the question, JJ. It's been said that those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. So, and having been out there in Vail and actually seen some of the history, thanks to our superintendent and actually traveling through the Vail area and getting to see some of the historical aspects, whether it's through the Esmond Station station house that's actually out there on the campus, or the Vail Preservation Society, the old post office, or the church that's right across the street. There's a lot of history here, between District 17, District 19 alone. And government does have a responsibility, even a constitutional responsibility at the federal level, to protect the arts and everything else. However, that nonprofit piece needs to stay there. And I do believe that it does need to be a delineation, but it doesn't mean that they can't be protected by the government.
From my experience, those involved in nonprofits are really passionate about what they do. And I think along the lines of working with historical locations, we need to create opportunities for tourism so people can come and see all the best that Southern Arizona has to offer.
I think this may be the last working mic. Respecting all of your busy schedules, we have really reached the end of our time for the panel. They're going to stick around for a few more minutes till almost 7. In case you have other questions, I'm going to take the chair's prerogative here and cut that off because I do want to hear closing comments from all of our candidates. And so we're going to start on the other end because we started over here with District 17. How about District 21?
Thank you again for your time and your commitment. My life has been shaped by service. Being a U.S. citizen, coming back after 18 years and living in Mexico. My husband is a firefighter. My daughter is in the National Guard. And we're always been very community oriented. We are not attached to any politics. We want to make sure that our rural, our border communities, our whole state, our cities in general get well represented. That there are people that we can sit down and talk to each other and learn from each other to make sure that our whole state moves forward in everything we all want. Education, healthcare, help our first responders, help our military, help our rural areas, our city. So this is me, Maritza Higuera. I'm willing to work with everyone because I know what we all want is to make sure that we have moving forward Arizona for our whole families, for our businesses, for our nonprofits, and for our people. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for your time, for everyone coming here. Again, I'm Esteban Flores for State Senate. The question we all need to ask is, are you better off now than you were years ago? And if it's not, then you have the power. You have the power to change the trajectory of our state. And in LD 21, I have served our district, have a medical background, in radiology, anesthesia, and in gastroenterology. I have seen the worst of the crime here, especially in Tucson, from gunshot wounds, domestic abuse, you name the crime. It feels like it has increased. I've served our community in different capacities for all walks of life, and I will do the same thing here in the state legislature. And I've always believed that the trajectory of our nation, it's on a to save our children and to turn the country around. You turn our school system around. Academically, we are 50 out of 50, bottom of the barrel. Our future, they need to know our Constitution. They need to be proud of our country so that we can have a sustainable workforce for generations to come. Again, I'm here to defend your God-given liberties, not just for you and me, but for your posterity. Thank you.
I'm Miranda Lopez. For those of you here and watching who live in District 21, I'm asking you to vote for me for the Arizona House in District 21. Since Consuelo Hernandez was not here today to speak, I will tell you what I think you need to know. She has taken 71 cents of every dollar from corporate PACs and corporations. She has voted with Republicans against her own party at least 155 times. She put her name on a resolution to call a meeting to rewrite the U.S. Constitution while Trump is in office, in a state where we just fought to put abortion rights back into our own Constitution. I have not taken a dollar from corporate PACs. I have not taken a dollar from utility companies, the Arizona Realtors Association, or housing developers. My campaign is funded by Southern Arizona neighbors writing $10, $20, $50 checks. That is the campaign I am running, and that is the representative I will be in Phoenix. My great-grandfather was a copper miner in Bisbee. I am a new homeowner. I am a proud UCW and DSA member who has walked picket lines. I lost my job 2 weeks before Christmas. I am one of you. That is the choice in this race. A representative who shows up for Southern Arizona, or one who keeps showing up for the corporations writing her checks. I have spent 8 years showing up when institutions have failed to show up. I want to spend the next term doing the same in Phoenix on behalf of the working people in District 21. So I'm asking you to vote for me, Miranda Lopez, on or before July 21st. Thank you.
Thank you, Chamber, moderator, and fellow candidates, and everyone who took the time to be here today. This election is about who is best to represent the people of Legislative District 19, not special interests and not political careers. I'm not asking for your vote because I need another title. I'm asking for your vote because I've spent my life here for 27 years serving this community, building a business, raising my family who graduated out of the Vail School District, and listening to the people I hope to represent. I've served as your District 4 Pima County Election Integrity Commissioner. I'm a current vote center inspector. I work with the youth in the 4-H and agriculture with the Little Rascals of Vail, and also I have been a volunteer in our Vail School District. I believe government should protect our freedoms, spend taxpayer dollars responsibly, support law enforcement, secure our elections, defend school choice, and create opportunities for Arizona families to thrive. As your next state representative, I will be accessible, accountable, and committing to putting the people of Legislative District 19 first every single day. If you want a citizen legislator who will work hard, listen to your concerns, and fight for common sense conservative solutions, I respectfully ask for your support. Please visit caswellforarizona19.com to learn more about me or to get involved in my campaign. But most importantly, remember to vote in this primary in this July. I'm Cheryl Caswell, and I'd be honored to earn your vote for Legislative District 19 State House. Thank you. God bless you and our communities, America, and the great state of Arizona. Vote Caswell, LD19.
Well, thank you, Chamber. Thank you, law enforcement, for keeping us safe. We're not going to beat each other up. Thank you for legislators and candidates. Before all of you arrived, we actually had a really nice time together. We chatted, we talked. There's a lot of issues that we have some similar goals and different paths, and then there's some issues where we have completely different goals. When I worked in places like northern Iraq, eastern Turkey, Kosovo, our goals were similar, but our backgrounds were different. We put aside some of our differences and we fixed problems. So I built affordable houses in Kosovo. I probably built more affordable houses than all the rest of you combined, unless there's a developer in the room. I helped build schools. I helped ministers of education to develop educational programs. And I'm a Republican. These are not just Democrat issues or Republican issues. We work together. I'm a person that can work together across aisles. I actually like my state legislators. They're nice people. We just sometimes have different goals, and it's your choice to pick them. Pick who represents you based on the goals you have as individuals in your neighborhood and for your family. So my name is Bob Dosey. I've already told you some of the things that I believe in and represent. I'd love to talk to you outside. I'm running for Legislative District 18 House. Thank you for inviting us all here, and thank you, all you candidates and legislators, for being such a friendly crowd. Thank you so much.
Thank you for letting me, Len Rosenblum, fill in for my candidate, Doug Everett, LD18 Senate candidate, in expressing Doug Everett's views, not mine. Keep Arizona affordable through jobs and opportunities. We also have to keep safety and support all law enforcement officers and their agencies. See, I'm supposed to remember this stuff. So through me, I'm an electrical engineer. That's not me, that's Doug Everett. Electrical engineer with years of community service, and I'm the approachable candidate. So check out my website, vote.arizonadugster.com, for more information about me. God bless Arizona.
Thank you, everybody. The teacher in me really wanted to have you all stand up and stretch a little bit midway, but that's okay. Thank you for being patient with us, and thank you for everyone who came. My name is Nancy Gutierrez. I'm an Arizona State Representative for LD 18. I am running for re-election, and being a representative for LD 18 the past 4 years, and serving as ranking member on education, and serving as our minority assistant leader has been the honor of a lifetime, truly. I grew up with service. I think being a public school teacher in Arizona especially is a life of service. And I'm very proud to continue that service in the Arizona State Legislature. And I hope that you will look up my voting record and see where my priorities lie, because I'm very proud of it. I say what I mean what I say. I will protect public education. I have been trying to pass gun sense legislation that does not infringe on the Second Amendment, but does keep our communities and our schools safer. I will vote to protect our water and continue to do that and make Arizona affordable. It is not affordable right now, and it is because of the policies of the majority party, because they have been in power for decades. And that is why we don't have affordable housing, and we haven't contained our water and saved it. So if you're not happy with how things are going, then I would say join me in flipping the state legislature, because that's what needs to be done to have change. So thank you very much.
Try not to fall while I'm walking to the podium. Thank you, Larry, the Greater Vail Area Chamber of Commerce, and all of you for being here tonight. Thank you to our deputies for being here as well. And thank you to my friends and neighbors from around the district and around Pima County. I'm Chris King, Air Force combat veteran, school board member, and your neighbor for nearly 22 years. I didn't enter this race to become a career politician. I entered because Arizona does deserve better. I'm proud to have earned endorsements from the Arizona Police Association, the Tucson Police Officers Association, National Federation of Independent Businesses, Gun Owners of America Arizona chapter, and the Arizona Realtors Association. Not because they write my checks, but because we actually share some principles that we believe in. These endorsements reflect some of what I stand for: backing the men and women of law enforcement, protecting parents' choice of where they send their children to school, cutting wasteful spending, and protecting your hard-earned money, and defending our constitutional rights without apology. These aren't just campaign promises, they're principles I live by in uniform and on the Vail School Board. I have signed the U.S. Term Limits Pledge because I believe in citizen legislators, not lifetime politicians. On July 21st, I ask for your vote so we can keep Arizona safe, free, and prosperous. Visit chriskingforaz.com to learn more, volunteer, or donate. Even a few dollars or a few hours of your time can make a huge difference. Together, we can keep Arizona safe, the great state we all love. Thank you. May God bless you. God bless the great state of Arizona, and may God continue to bless the United States of America.
All right. Well, thank you to the Vail Chamber. And I believe leadership is not about winning arguments. It's about solving problems. It's about listening before speaking. It's about treating people with dignity and respect. It's about having the courage to work across differences and find solutions that move our communities forward. Our Constitution says all political power is inherent of the people. Governments derive their just rights from consent of the governed. Governments are established to maintain and protect individual rights. If I'm elected, I will make sure that I will always be accessible. I've been at Pima for over 30 years, and I've given every student, every employee my personal cell number, because I think as a representative, we should be accessible. I think that we should listen to our community. We should listen to our districts, and we should do our best to create pathways to good jobs and livable wages. I promise this: I will put people before politics. I will put progress before bipartisanship. Thank you.
Thank you to the Vail Chamber for hosting this, for everybody for being here today. Thank you for the law enforcement that's been here protecting us. My name is Anthony Dunham, and I'm running for the Senate in LD 17 because I've seen the promise Arizona can provide as a 15-year Southern Arizona resident. I've seen the promise that Arizona can provide to our children for their future, but we're no longer there. We're no longer there because of bad politics and bad policy. We're all tired of the same old, same old. You want to know where your candidate stands? Follow the money. My campaign is completely funded by we the people. Not one nickel has come in from special interest groups, lobbyists, unions, or such the like. This is a government that's supposed to represent the people and work for the people to accomplish and complete and win with our problems and our goals and our communities. Safer communities happen by funding law enforcement. Defunding law enforcement means that you're not doing your constitutional job to protect the citizenship, and you should be removed from office. Let's continue to protect our law enforcement, to protect our children by putting armed officers in every single school in Arizona, and to protect our economic promise by creating an environment where small businesses thrive, entrepreneurs want to come, and create local communities for families that they can afford houses through business and responsible education. Lastly, I heard Elijah Norton talk the other day, Secretary of State candidate. As a legislator, I would completely support the legislation doing a Doge-style audit of Arizona. So again, you can follow the money, get your money back, and know where your money is going.
Again, I'm Holly Lyon. I am a retired Air Force colonel, 26 years in the Air Force, and I really am proud of that, because to me, that is public service. That's what I want to continue. That's what I want to do more of. I want to serve you. I think it is the responsibility. There are two primary responsibilities of state government, in my mind. One of them is to educate our public, whatever level of education you call that. I think we need to educate our children. Number two, we need to keep everyone safe. And safety is across the board. Fire, police, child services, all of that. We need to keep our citizenry safe. That's what I want to do. We are to facilitate opportunity. That's what government is for. And that's what I want to do. I want to facilitate for all of you and for everyone in Arizona more opportunity so that we can all reach our potential and have wonderful, I would like to say lovely lives, but of course we know that won't necessarily happen. But we want to do the best we can with the rest of our lives and with our businesses so we can support each other. I do want to thank everyone in the room for being here. This was quite a dedication for you to be here tonight through all of this. I really want to thank the Chamber and the wonderful organization that you went through to hold all of this. You did a fabulous job, and I thank you very much for all of your help.
Hi again, my name is John Winchester. I'm running for the Arizona House of Representatives in LD 17, and I love Tucson. This is my home, born and raised here, and I'm raising my 4 children here, and I'm hoping that they can stay here and will raise their children here so I don't have to travel to go see my grandkids. That's the plan. But I love Tucson. A good friend of mine says that Tucson's is a high school hallway, and I look in this room and I see a lot of people that I know. I see a lot of people that I've done work with. I see a lot of people that I've done some things with for a long, long time, and I love that about Tucson. Those of you who I don't know, I don't know if you've seen enough for me to have earned your vote or scare you off. I hope not. But if you don't know and you'd like to know more, please come get information from my table. My business cards are out there. They've got my cell phone number on there. I'm accessible to everyone. My email however is your best way of reaching out, please do that. I'm happy to answer any question you have, any concern that you have, or any idea that you have. I'm not up here telling you I know everything. I'm up here to learn, and I continue to go around and I learn. But I am interested in making change. LD 17 is made up of families. It's the largest family density population in the entire county. And raising my 4 children in this area is driving me to make change. Affordability is up. It's not from the state. It's not from the federal government. It's because local leadership has driven up cost. Safety and security is a primary issue for me because I want to be able to drive around without getting accosted by people while I'm in my vehicle. I'm tired of having to see people who are doing drugs at their bus stops and starting brush fires when they take the free crime bus out to where I live. And the other one is education. I want a good education for my kids to create opportunity. That is the vector. That is the factor that's going to help give them a future. And that's what I want for my children. I can't tell you can trust. I'm not going to try to act like you can trust me with just this little bit of time I've been able to give you. But note this. If I'm fighting for my family, I'm also fighting for yours. So if you have any questions, any concerns, please let me know. I want to hear from you. Thank you.
I want to again thank the organizers and welcome everybody again to Legislative District 17. I'm Kevin Volk, current state representative. Proud of my couple of years of service. It's an honor to serve as your state representative in Legislative District 17. I'm proud to be one of the most bipartisan members in the entire state legislature. I come from a background of being born and raised in Tucson, former 5th grade teacher, small business owner. That's who I am. I try to work with people. I like to make things happen. I'll work with anyone. Happy to reach across the aisle to make sure that happens. We've got real challenges, tackling the cost of living, improving our education system, securing our water, ensuring public safety. These are challenging issues that require people who are going to put service over self. We need more of that in the state legislature. I will continue to call out the non-business-like management of the state legislature where too much partisanship reigns the day. We can do better. We can do better to live up to the ideals that we saw 250 years ago that we're about to celebrate on July 4th. And that's what I'm running to do, is to continue that work. So thank you for being here and appreciate the time you spend being educated and engaged as citizenry. Thank you.
Thank you for your closing comments, and I appreciated all of the time that you allowed us to have with you. And thank you, audience, for being here. They're going to be here for a few more minutes, so we'll adjourn to the lobby. I want to thank Holly for leading us in the pledge, because we have always started every one of our sessions with the Pledge of Allegiance. So thank you for reminding us of the protocol, the proper protocol. So thank you so much. Denise, any closing comments?
Thank you. And I would like to say thank you for your patience with our mic hiccups. It's very much appreciated. I want to say thank you all to our candidates for participating this evening and for your willingness to serve our community. Thank you to our moderator, sponsors, volunteers, and attendees for helping make tonight's event successful. Regardless of where you stand on specific issues, tonight demonstrates the importance of coming together, listening respectfully, and engaging in meaningful dialogue about the future of our region. The Greater Vail Chamber of Commerce remains committed to fostering informed conversations, supporting economic vitality, and serving as a bridge between businesses, government, and community. We encourage everyone to stay engaged, continue learning about the issues, and most importantly, exercise your right to vote. Thank you again for joining us. Have a wonderful evening. Travel safely, and we look forward to seeing you at the next future chamber event. Have a good night.